Welcome to some more Naya Wrestling! It is us, that's right, the Royal We, Mark Silvester, along with me as always, the best in the world, Loser Quest Tony!
This feels like a oxymoron. The best. Loser Quest!
Yeah.
Best and loser. They don't work together.
they do for you, Tony, mate. They do for you. You are the best loser in the world.
The best loser there is. Thank you.
No worries, mate. Maybe we should do We Are the Champions, but then have it as with you. Well, no, you are the champion.
We are the losers.
Yes. No time for winners, because we are the losers of the world.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
sounds like a good plan.
Indeed. So, how you been, Tony? You been alright?
Yeah, I've not been working. I've been off, so I've been very good. I've had a week off, but yeah, not too bad. How about you?
Yeah, been good, thanks, mate. Been good. Been working as always, editing, the usual bollocks. And
Yeah,
just the usual stuff. And talking of work, mate, can you believe it? Hell has frozen over.
Hell has frozen over?
Yes, CM Punk is now back in WWE.
There we go, yeah, I just discovered... Well, I didn't just discover that, I knew about it, I'd heard about it.
I was going on to Tony about it ever since it happened. I was like, Tony, guess what? I know you don't like wrestling, but fuck it. Well, you kind of, but you do, but you don't. I was like, he's back, Tony, he's back. I was like, oh my God, he's back. It was so cool. Yeah. So what I thought we would do today, guys, is we would do a comparison of his AEW debut and his return to WWE. So what we're going to do first of all, Tony, we're going to talk about his AEW debut back on the first dance on an episode of Rampage.
We will hear from CM Punk, the newest addition to All Elite Wrestling, in just 1 minute and 30 seconds. You've waited this long to hear from CM Punk. You only have to wait 90 seconds more. CM Punk is in AEW.
But how did you find that reaction from the crowd and all that kind of stuff?
It's kind of like... I'd feel very intimidated if I was him. I mean, that's his thing. He's meant to be there to entertain, I guess, and, play to a crowd, but my God, there's enough people chanting at you.
Yeah, I know.
Kind of cult-like.
Yeah, because funny cult personalities, isn't she?
Yeah.
Because backstory with this one is, he left the WWE back in 2014, didn't wrestle, do anything wrestling-related for a good 6 years, did a show called Backstage for WWE/Fox, because WWE are being shown on Fox at the moment.
Oh, okay.
And then in 2021, 7 years later on, that's why they had the 3,000 odd days to show how many days they hadn't wrestled or been involved in wrestling.
I did wonder what that... Yeah, I saw the number, but... Yeah.
And then now, after 7 years, he's back. And that's why everyone was so happy, because it's like, oh my God, he's back, and that kind of thing as well.
Yeah, crazy. the reaction from people was mad. But yeah, I get it. People... Well, especially with wrestling, because obviously when you've got other, sports or stuff, people will mostly go for a team, right? Rather than... They do idolise specific people, but with this, you don't really have teams, do you? So...
No. The only team you would have, in a sense, would be a tag team or a faction, but that's more of, not like a... And then it's you go to city to city, and people like who they like as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, it's crazy. It's mad how... I feel like he was kind of in awe as well at moments, just kind of... soaking it all in,
Oh yeah, because you got to think he was kind of a bit like, how they're going to react to me, considering I haven't wrestled for 7 years, considering how I kind of said I hate wrestling, we'll never go back to it, because obviously at the time when he left in 2014 from the E, he was very much negative about wrestling, negative about them in general negative about a lot of different things, which obviously understandable from when you hear the podcast, you can understand why. And then through that, there was lawsuits and all these other bollocks as well.
It put a sour taste in your mouth, innit? Just one bad experience, I guess.
And then hearing that reaction from the crowd, he was like, "Oh my god, you do remember me, you do love me," and then it was made him. I mean, that guy who was crying, I'm like, that just shows the raw emotion of what wrestling can do to someone. That their favorite wrestler's gone. Now he's come back. I'm like, I'll be honest, I was screaming.
Yeah.
I was screaming really loudly when he was back.
So obviously, like, I'm very much more into, like, gaming is my thing, and I've got a comparison, is the moment at E3 2016 when Hideo Kojima came out at Sony. I feel like that's a similar comparison in a way, because he had a really bad experience at Konami, then went away, and then after a couple years, it wasn't as long, granted, but he came back, and then his entrance on the stage was epic, and everyone was like, "What the hell?" Yeah. So it's kind of the similar kind of thing,
it's the same with like boxing and other big things. Like even when Shigeru Miyamoto comes out, having that big reaction from the crowd as well. Was insane.
It feels very similar to the Hideo Kojima way in a sense because of how his experience and but you don't get a lot of people like that in gaming. But that was the thing it reminded me of. So but. Yeah, no, it shows you how one person can, really shape something.
And because it was the first time in 7 years him being back in a proper wrestling company, it was that shocking moment because there was teasers about it and stuff, and obviously the women people saying best in the world, etc. People were like, all right, I'm going to buy tickets. They sold out the United Center, which is the Chicago Bulls State arena, in like literally on a whim, and then they chanted it, and first thing they did in the entire show was bring him out, which I think was the best thing to do, because if they left it, it would just put a sour taste in people's mouths, and then it would just ruin the rest of the show.
Yeah, 100%. They definitely needed to do that. Yeah. So no, I loved him like actually interacting with the fans as well, not just like kind of putting on a show. He's actually going up to fans and hugging them.
And I like the fact as well with the commentary, they only said a few little bits. They didn't like overshadow his moment. They said this is Jordan-esque. They said, one of them said, "Oh my god, this is amazing." And then they kind of just left it like that. They didn't just go like this and this and this
constantly
and this and this.
Talking over. They picked their moments. which was good. Yeah, no, definitely. I love the jumping into the crowd part as well.
I did as well. I thought it was really, really cool.
See, this reminds me of time I went to see a guy called Benga. He's like one of the people who really developed dubstep. Like OG dubstep, not like what it evolved into. But I saw him in a like a basement club in, I can't remember where it was, but he did it was like the shorts. It's the comparison so funny because it was the lowest ceilings you could imagine, and he crowd surfed. But as he did it, he like kicked the decks and the music cut out, and then the crowd couldn't catch him. It was like, it's funny though. It's really good.
Were you in the area to catch him?
No, I was on the other side of the turntable, the decks. Like, I was on the other end.
That's cool.
But it was funny. Yeah, that's the comparison with this huge arena, and he just leaps in.
I know. And did you like the?
I love the security guards. Like,
I know. It was like, okay, he's fine now. You're right. And I love the shots as well, of just showing the size of the crowd and just the lighting of the crowd too. Like, you can just see that full arena screaming your name and stuff, and you can even see him welling up slightly as well, because he was like, "Oh my god, you guys love me, remember me and stuff." Yeah,
no, it's really cool. Yeah, the amount of people there's insane. Like,
think about 21,000 were there.
Crazy, madness. Yeah,
Pure madness.
You've been to like what's the biggest wrestling match you've been to?
Either WrestleMania 29, which he wrestled at, which is really annoying now because I always used to tout saying, I saw CM Punk's last WrestleMania match. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
I mean, I'm happy you're back, Punk, but fuck you, Punk. But then, or maybe going to Wembley for All In, that was quite a big experience just because I was in Wembley Stadium. But I think WrestleMania because of the grandeur and like the magnitude and stuff. And they actually had the band who do his theme tune, Live in Colour, perform there as well.
Oh, nice.
Before his match against The Undertaker. And then seeing Undertaker's entrance live was just insanely cool because it was always one of my bucket lists to see his entrance live at Mania.
Yeah.
And I got to see it. And he had like these flames coming up. He had these like people from hell trying to drag him down back to hell and stuff. And then we lift. Have I ever shown you Undertaker?
Yeah, I think so.
And then when he lifts his arm to lift the lights back up,
okay,
it does it. But then there's like all the fireworks go off on the stage and roof and stuff. It was just so cool.
That's crazy.
And the stadium itself was really big. 90,000 people was there. It was at MetLife in New Jersey. But yeah, what about you, Tony? What's the biggest thing?
Well, the biggest thing I've ever been to is Eminem at Wembley Stadium.
Oh, that's cool.
He like the football ground. So that was packed full up, like for Eminem. Yeah, it was crazy. Like the atmosphere, like in this, the atmosphere is insane. It's just crazy. Yeah. No, that's the biggest thing I've ever been to. I was so happy to go to that because I love Eminem. And I got to see Dr. Dre live, so that was
cool.
amazing.
Was he like a backup, or was
no? They brought him out to perform, like, because they've got a few songs together, so they performed a bunch of songs. And Dre performed, like, I think he performed Still DRE and stuff like that, like his big songs. So yeah, it was really cool.
Very nice.
It's funny because before we went there, at the train station where we lived, I bought a sandwich like at the restaurant, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, I heard a rumor Dr. Dre's going to be there," and I was like, "No way!" And then he actually came out, and I was like, "Oh my god,
that's so cool, Tony."
So I know the feeling of losing your mind to like seeing something crazy like this. Like, yeah. So yeah.
And then when you watch it live, I guess it must be different to you, just seeing the way that like the runners and everyone like move different things and do different things for like the entranceway and the ring as well. It's just insane too, because you never see it on TV because it's all of the product packages and stuff. Like, was it like similar to Eminem when you saw that?
Yeah, definitely. Because obviously they had someone who opened up for them, so for Eminem. But yeah, so yeah, it was really interesting to see.
That's cool.
Yeah, so. Yeah, but
did he do always like big hits?
Oh yeah, all of them.
That's cool. How long was he there for? Like 2.5 hours, 2 hours,
something like that. Yeah, it was a long night. Yeah,
that's good.
It was really, really good. Yeah.
Oh, wicked, man, wicked.
But yeah, big crowds. You can't beat them. But I've never been to anything else like that. Like really, I've been to other like concerts. I've been to Reading Festival, which is in the open air, but that's a lot of people. Cool. That's a lot more people.
We went to see something together. I know it's very different, but that was quite a lot of people. The Symphony Orchestra.
Which was in Wembley Arena, which is right next door. Yeah, which I've seen Pendulum there as well. But the Zelda Orchestra. It was really good, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was amazing, and they'd done a Sonic one as well, which I really wanted to go to, but tickets sold out really quickly. But maybe they do more of them because they're really cool watching like classic video game music in like this massive big orchestra, and it just adds so much more feel to it. I remember,
being there in person is definitely like because
I remember tearing up when they were playing A Link to the Past because it's like
so good.
One of my childhood games, and you could just hear them playing it. It was like, oh my god, they just add so much more to like nuances and so much more like extra things to it. It's kind of like, oh my god, I remember playing it. I remember playing it on the old Super Nintendo.
Like I think you'd be there. It's crazy, like being there in person. Like I can't imagine the atmosphere there. Like I mean, through the screen you can kind of feel it, but
totally.
Like being there is like a whole different thing. Yeah, they must have been going mad. Well, you could see the people going crazy. Like there was one guy I said like he was making sure he's getting on the camera. He was
totally.
Like going mad. So yeah.
And then the second one we watched, Tony, was CM Punk's surprise return at the Survivor Series 2023. November.
Okay,
literally happened just a few not long ago now. Basically, there was rumours going around that he was going to go back and stuff, but then literally right before it happened, Paul Levesque, who runs WWE, told the wrestlers who's in the cage, Punk's coming back, just to let you guys know. And then he ran it, and then it was like they had it because the cool thing with his NXT, which is the developmental / like lower program, like the C brand, if you know what I mean. Where SmackDown and Raw are more like the A and 1, where that's kind of like the B, C. And he used to do a thing where he used to have the copyright logo come up, thinking like, I'm gonna go up to bed now, I'm gonna turn it off. But he's like, no, an extra surprise. And
that's really cool. Like, yeah.
And then because I've been watching it live, I was like, I'm gonna go to bed now. Remember hearing the static go, and I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't scream or go, oh my god, it's happened, because I didn't wake my mum up. And I was like, popped up, and I was like, is it actually going to come out? And I saw him come out, like, yes! And I was so excited, and I couldn't go to bed till like 5 in the morning. I had to listen to the press conference that he does, talk about it and say like, yeah. And then the really funny thing about the whole Paul Levesque reaction to it, he was like, because R-Truth and Randy Orton both came back, and he was like, yeah, our truth's back, isn't it, guys? And he was like, all right, then talk about it. And then it's like, yep, it's 10 years, we both grown, etc. And then, yeah, he's back.
Yeah, crazy. No, I really like the way they did it, like, as a surprise, like you're saying, like making you think it's finished, and then, yeah, doing that.
Yeah.
I love that sort of stuff, and I really feel like nowadays the internet has ruined a lot of stuff like that, especially with gaming and, like, releases and,
the same thing of
like,
wrestling.
reveals of gaming stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it happens as much in wrestling.
Oh,
if
it
gets
does a lot with
spoiled.
dirt sheets and all the
I
different
hate
stuff,
that.
and it's kind of like,
It's
this
just-
is
I
happening,
just
this is
would-
this person's side, this person's side. I was like,
Just needs surprises. It's what makes
that's
it
why,
so good.
that's
like-
why when people were asking WWE, they were like, no, nothing's happening, because they're
Yeah.
like, we're not
Yeah.
going to say anything
No,
because we
yeah.
don't want to ruin the surprise. So when they signed him, only a select people knew about it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, it's just going to
Yeah. Yeah, no,
release to
I
the
love...
release to the public, and it won't be a surprise.
No, exactly. Good surprise is what you need. Like, I remember, like, the ones I can remember are, like, at gaming events. So, like, I think at the Game Awards, like, I think it was, like, it was either ending or something was happening, and then the whole screen, like, glitched out and shut, like, all the lights went off. Or it was, like, midway through a sentence. And then, like, Cyberpunk was announced or whatever, which was really
that's
cool. Like, they
cool.
were hacking into the Game Awards. It was
That's
really cool.
awesome. I like that kind of stuff.
Or there's one where Ed Boon came out to host or present an award, and then midway he's like, "Here are the nominees," and then something smashed through the screen. It was like Scorpion's thing or
Get
whatever.
over here.
Yeah, and then it played the Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
trailer, and then afterwards he's like, "I think that was the wrong video." It's really good, but
Was
stuff
that,
like
for, was that for X or 10?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I love that sort of stuff. Like a good surprise. Like it's what made the GTA, because we briefly spoke about GTA before this. Like the trailer was meant to air at 2 p.m. like our time on Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
And then some dickhead leaked it 15 hours before, so Rockstar were like, "Okay, we'll release it so you can watch the official one and not the crappy leaked version." Which really spoiled the moment, I feel, because then
totally.
everyone was watching it at different moments, people weren't ready for it, and, it's
And
just
also,
like,
as well,
yeah.
like, that's a massive dickhead thing to do, because you're kind of ruining it for different people, and I hope that person gets prosecuted for that.
Well, yeah,
Or at least
Rockstar were
fired.
prepared for it, it seems, because they were like, "Okay, here's the trailer, watch it."
Yeah.
But it's a shame, but yeah, because
I think
like you want that moment of like everyone being shocked and surprised, like yeah.
And I think as well, it kind of shows their like great marketing and their great thing. Like, all right, this has happened. This is a bit of a fuck up. I was like, nah, fuck it. We're going to release it, and then
It's the best viewed video in 24 hours on YouTube now.
is it? How many views has it got?
It got like 80 million views in a day, something like that.
Fucking hell.
Something ridiculous. Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. It
Yeah.
is GTA 6.
Yeah, but
And it's going to be like the biggest game, like the fifth one was.
Yeah,
Because they know.
Oh,
But
yeah,
the
also.
thing I like about Rockstar as well, unlike the remastered trilogy, I know we're kind of going off subject,
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that saying with this whole Return of CM Punk is they do it in such a way that they're not just going to release something shit. They're going to release
No,
something
they
that's
take the
going to be
time.
proper.
Yeah,
they do
yeah,
something
yeah.
that's did a proper time. Triple H was in the production truck chair to be like the main guy to be like, all right, then this is going to happen now. Punk put out,
Yeah.
wanted to make sure it was done smoothly, done really well, and then and it
I
didn't.
like the sort of going back to the CM Punk thing. I like that it was like a surprise and caught you off guard. Like, yeah, that makes it a better moment, I think, rather
Yeah.
than being prepared for it or whatever. Yeah, it's
Because they tried to minimise it as much as possible. Because in the War Games, they were like, we need a fifth member. So they went straight away to be like, all right, then we're going to have Randy Orton come out to be the fifth member, which then, there's a few CM Punk chants, because obviously, but then when it did happen, that's when everyone was like, fuck, he's here, 9 years of like, this is ended now, nearly a decade.
yeah.
Hell's frozen over.
and it's
There's
something you'd never think would happen. Yeah, which
No.
makes it even better. Yeah,
Because in his podcast, he said a lot of negative things about Paul Levesque. Because he felt like he should have lost to him, and then nothing happened afterwards, and then a lot of the booking he didn't really feel was correct, where he was like, he was losing to his part-timers, but then he was like, but what's going to happen next? Nothing, we'll just carry on, because you can lose, and he's like, but no, what's going to happen for me? And then there's a great picture of Paul Levesque, Triple H, and CM Punk next to each other, putting fingers to each other, smiling, and then Paul Levesque, funnily enough, put Hell's Frozen over, and it's just that sort of thing. I
Yeah.
just think it's just, and also as well, it helps wrestling industry, it helps like everything, because his merch is already the number one selling stuff on the
Oh yeah, it's
shop
definitely
already.
a big thing that would draw people in, and you can tell by how many people like him. Like, it's
Yeah.
definitely was a good thing for them, good thing for him, I guess.
Yeah, and then
so.
even though all the sour people from the AEW fans, because they didn't like the way that he treated the Elite, even though they were scumbags and owner Tony Khan can't run a shit show. Like even now they were saying Punk's the reason why there's all these negatives, but then after he's left for like 2 months now, they're still negative people coming out and moaning about the company, and then
really?
and it's kind of like, but kind of like reaps what you sow. It's kind of like if you're able to rein in people, say to people like Hangman Page, who did a promo that Punk didn't like, don't say that, and said to Punk, don't be a dick. And then with the whole thing, what happened with the media, just going, like, interested to show you one day, just to kind of see reactions and now what's happened now.
Yeah.
We'll do that on a future episode, where he could have stopped Punk many times during that whole media scrum, but didn't. Didn't tell the Elite off for spreading lies about Punk. Which
So is this what got him kicked out or whatever?
No, but then through that, he then got injured at the night, then was off for 6 months, and then he ended up getting his own show, which is then is going to also annoy the owners of Warner Brothers, because they're now like, they gave AEW more stuff to keep Punk, and they were like, what the fuck are you doing, Tony Khan? And then basically Punk got annoyed, didn't like...
Seems like nothing's going well for Warner Brothers.
Yeah. So then the Elite wouldn't meet up with him, even though Punk wanted to apologise, wanted to sort of like mend the fences, because to him he's like, let's make money, which was great. When he had his return promo, he was like, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money, which was a jab to the Elite, because they're a bunch of dicks who, I mean, Kenny Omega isn't as bad as the Young Bucks, but the Young Bucks I can't stand. They're egotistical, they're a bunch of twats. They won't do anything that doesn't make them look good, even though they could have made millions upon millions of pounds, millions and millions of
pounds. Do you know what that reminds me of? Like, sorry, it's an off-topic kind of thing. It reminds me of the whole Fast and Furious and The Rock and his contracts and Vin Diesel and their contracts.
Yeah.
Like, they can only be punched they have to be punched the same amount of times as the other guy. They can't lose the fight. It's so stupid. Like, I
know.
Yeah.
Because I know obviously it's a bit different in wrestling compared to normal different things, because then they had the brawl out because of the scrum, him and the Young Bucks and Kenny, which they all got suspended for and stuff, and obviously Punk wanted to apologise, but then Tony Khan, being such a weak leader that he was, wouldn't put them all into said to the Elite, do you want to meet with Punk? No, so Punk obviously thought it was going to happen. That annoyed him even more. Then
a lot of miscommunication.
Then his channel arrangements were terribly done. And then there was a moment in AEW where a guy called Jack Perry, who's another dickhead part of the Elite group. Sorry, I'm very pro Punk, so yes, that's why I'm saying it like this. He wanted to use real glass, and then all the other management were like, no, do not use real glass. It's stupid. It's going to really cut you up and stuff. Yeah. And then, so basically, they had to get Punk to say it to him, and then obviously it blew up, and then made it seem like Punk was the bad guy, even though Punk was asked by the higher ups like Tony Schiavone, who's like a big deal in AEW, would decide to have to speak to Jack Perry, and then Jack Perry on the all-in pay-per-view, being a dick that he is, was like, real grass, climbing a river after the whole thing of him and Punk. So Punk was like, what the fuck? He had said to Tony Khan, what the fuck? And then basically apparently lunged at Tony Khan, and they had a bit of a fist fight, and then basically he put Jack Perry into a chokehold to calm the situation down. Then there was a whole hoo-ha, because they were like, fuck, what's going to happen now? So they're going to say to Young Bucks, do you want to now wrestle against FTR, who are good friends of CM Punk, CMFTR, their match? And they were like, oh fuck. So then Joe had to then sort out that. So that they had that situation to sort out. So then they end up going out for their match. And then for this moment, everyone was hearing like Jack Perry got in a fight with CM Punk. CM Punk got in a fight with Jack Perry, and then lunged at Tony Khan, etc. And then the following week, through a committee, even though Tony Khan's the owner of the company, he should have done it himself, kind of letting other people take the fall for him. They sacked CM Punk with due cause, saying he feared for his life, even though he let the man wrestle, he let the man stay there for an entire hour afterwards, take pictures of people and buy them all Nando's.
Of course.
And then now he's back in WWE, and then the funny thing is everyone was saying Punk was the reason why there's always negativity in AEW, because he was speaking his mind. And then there's still more drama, because Britt Baker's come out on Twitter, this person's come out on Twitter, people have been bad-mouthing Tony Khan because they lost CM Punk, their biggest merch mover, their biggest selling pay-per-view buys, the best feud, which is why we're doing the thing with CM Punk and MJF bashing about AEW that they've done. And then he's now gone back to WWE.
Kind of just chucked it all out the window.
I mean, apparently he does have a behaviour clause, but then WWE people are saying it isn't there. It's just like they would do with normal people, because I'm kind of glad it's happening now, because people can actually see it's not CM Punk was the issue, it's Tony Khan. He's not a proper leader. He'd rather everyone be his friends and actually be a boss, and the amount of injuries they've had and all these other bollocks too. And I'm like, you know.
It seems like a lot of drama.
And that's why hell was frozen over, because before Punk went back to AEW back in June, he wanted to go back to the E in the first place, so he went back to kind of mend fences and teach people, and now he's like, I think he wanted out as soon as he could, so I was like, fuck it, I want out. He actually said to Tony Khan on the day, after the Jack Perry situation, he was like, I'm gone. I want to quit now. And then obviously Joe had to calm him down, Samoa Joe, to then have the match, which was a great match. I got to see him live, got the video of my recording of him coming out. So
Nice. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
So that's the whole backstory, Tony.
There's a lot going on there. It seems like...
I'm very much saying in a pro-punk side, only because I am very much pro-punk, because he is one of my all-time favourite wrestlers of all time.
Yeah,
but,
So
yeah.
There you go.
And then it just shows how incompetent. And then now, as I told you, AEW are lucky to sell 3,000-4,000 people where they used to sell out arenas. Where WWE are selling out this arena, that arena, because it's the most exciting WWE's been. Where
They've
AEW
just shot themselves in the foot, really, haven't they?
Yeah. And you know what Tony Khan did to rectify this this whole thing of CM Punk going back to WWE again?
What's it?
Tournaments. That man loves his tournaments.
Okay.
So now he's doing a round robin tournament, which is similar to the G1, but even that the rules are convoluted, because it's like they apparently are supposed to win this Triple Crown where they win that whole tournament, the Ring of Honor title and the New Japan Strong title, but there's no real talk about it, that kind of thing. It's just all confusing. But then Hell's frozen over and Punk's back in WWE, so
nobody will really care about that.
So there's been memes everywhere going, Jack Perry's a man who was able to help freeze hell over. Thank you, Jack Perry, you massive cunt.
Well, there you go.
And he's still been suspended as well, because the Elite apparently did a victory that lap after he left, which another reason why put a sour taste in my mouth, because it's like the Elite more the Young Bucks, not Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's very much kind of like, he doesn't really want to be involved in it. They're more the scumbags, but he's kind of more the neutrals, if you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. I don't want to take the side.
Yeah, and then everyone was like, how the fuck are these people with EVPs if they're going to react like that after losing their biggest merch mover, and then being like, because in the 80s and 90s and stuff, they would have been like, nah, fuck it. You're going to be in, like, Vincent Mann, Jim Cornette said it, Dutch Mantel, they were like, all right, you guys, look at Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. They hate each other in real life, but they were like, you guys are going to wrestle.
We've got a job to
and
do.
you guys are going to make us a lot of money, and I don't care what's going to happen. Which was one of the reasons why the Montreal Screwjob happened, not because Bret Hart was going to lose. He didn't want to lose to Shawn Michaels in Canada. He would have happily lost to anyone else, but Bret Hart would have happily lost to Michaels in anywhere else except for Canada. Yeah. Which is the only reason where that's why Vince did what he did, because at the time, Bret Hart, going on a completely different subject, technically connected to CM Punk. CM Punk's a massive Bret Hart fan, which a lot of us are. That Bret had a creative clause in his contract. So he's able to cause his own creative and cause his own storylines, which is why he did that. And then it was like, people hate each other for many years, and they were like, if it will make them a lot of money, they'll fucking go out and have a match. Yeah. Which is what the Elite, for being idiots that they are, like, what the fuck? You left out a chance to, especially at Wembley, if they had CM Punk and FTR against the Elite, or even CM Punk versus Kenny Omega, and then still have the match they had anyway with the Young Bucks versus FTR, they lost out on millions. You guys could have made millions upon millions upon millions for this one match.
Their feelings got hurt.
I know. And it's just like, but that's the reason why Punk said we did in his return promo. He said, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money, which is what the whole point of wrestling is. I know people like to be friends with each other because obviously it makes it more safer, etc. But then at the same time, it's like, but you're there to make money, and it's like, and also as well, you made your boss, the lead, the president of the company, lose out on millions as well because of your egotistical being like, if Punk doesn't do anything for 6 months, we would potentially do something with him. And you say that after he got fired. For putting a fear into someone's life, and I'm like, really?
It seems like they're all just kind of jealous in a way.
And I think the whole thing of that. They are because they wanted to be because they were for many years in New Japan like the big dogs, because they were part of the Bullet Club, which were like the biggest faction in the world, and they had things as Hot Topic and stuff. And I'm like, and that's one of the reasons why I'm off AEW now, because I'm like, well, I don't want to support a company who have idiots like that. Yeah, where it's kind of like, I obviously understand the broad out people should be fighting each other. Yes, they got suspended. Yes, they had the thing, but then at the same time, if it will make you money, work with these people. There's been some times that I've hated working with different people. And I'm like,
but you're there to do a job.
But I'm there to we're there to do a job. I know it's a bit different from, but then it's
it's just you're there to do a job. Do your job. Don't they're just kind of.
And it kind of shows the whole EVPs-ness, and then having Bryan Danielson being in charge of the executive disciplinary committee and stuff, and it's kind of like, and also it shows just how Tony Khan has no bollocks. It's kind of like if you used your power that you're supposed to have, rather than being friends with everyone and being this and being that, like actually do something to kind of like help support your company, because now it's in the toilet. AEW's in disarray. There's no morale's as low as fuck. It's all this sort of stuff. But then in my head, I'm thinking, you could have kept Punk. You could have made the most amount of money ever in one pay-per-view night that you could have done in your whole history of your company.
Like I said, they shot themselves in their foot. So,
and then they gave back CM Punk to...
They literally just, that's insane.
To the enemy who he hated for 9 years.
Well, it's the same, like, again, sorry, going back to the gaming-related thing, but going back to the Konami thing, they had Hideo Kojima at their helm, who made them so much money, and they just, again, Konami shot themselves in the foot, and they've just sent him off to go make games elsewhere. Like, and now Konami are just, who knows what they're doing. Pachinko machines.
Making
which
really
probably
bad.
Makes them money, but it's not.
I mean, the only good Konami game that they made recently, but then again, it wasn't really them, it was Digital Eclipse who basically did the collection, it was a Turtles collection, because it was all the old Konami NES, Mega Drive arcade
I don't
games.
think they can take credit for much, can they? So, but that's what it feels like with this. Like, you can't give him credit where he's just sent CM Punk off.
Yeah. I mean, you can kind of, because they're like, they were able to mend that broken bridge. Whatever you want to say about mending things for 9 years. It's like, Paul Levesque's like, yep. And then it's going to make him a load of money, because Seth Rollins is very much like, I might not personally like the guy, but same with a lot of the wrestlers there, if it'll make me money, I'll make the money, because he knows he's going to make money at the Rumble. Yeah. They know, because it's going to be his first match for like 9 years, they're going to have it at the Rumble, I think, against Seth, and then apparently they want to have him against Roman for Mania or against Austin for Mania or whatever.
Use him in everything.
Because even though it's now Premier Live events, it's not real pay-per-view, it's on the network. The episode of Raw, there were thousands of people wanting to rewatch it because of like, Punk's back, what's he going to say?
Oh yeah, that moment will be rewatched and rewatched, yeah.
I mean, even that, because from social media alone, they had from that one video, that moment of CM Punk coming back, over 77 million likes, follows, downloads, etc., whatever you want to call it, from that one moment on all their social media. 77 in one day.
Yeah, there you go.
Just shows the power of the WWE and CM Punk to do this. So, yeah.
Craziness.
But talking about the actual video itself, I mean, how did you find the crowd reaction, and then obviously the shots of the crowd and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, they seemed just as hyped for him. Like, like you said, there was that guy just chanting Chicago.
Chicago. I mean, as much as obviously it was like, what town is this? I'm kind of like, you're a lucky fucker. You get to be on TV shouting Chicago. I even said to you when we were watching it, how long do you reckon it'll become a meme?
Yeah, maybe.
Rather than Chicago, it's like, what town is this?
Yeah, it's not the same.
Nah, not the same at all, no.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, it was cool. There you go.
And then did you like the fact when he was doing this, it's clobbering time, you had all the crowd, like, screaming it with him as well?
Yeah.
Do you know what that's a reference of?
Is it a comic reference?
Yes.
From, is it The Thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not that into it.
CM Punk is a big comic book guy, because he did a comic book, he wrote one for Drax.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
And he's a really good friend as well with Dave Bautista, who obviously wrestled with him and stuff as well. They wrestled each other a few times as well, actually, too.
Yeah, cool.
So between the two videos, Tony, which one would you say had the better reaction? I know one was kind of a surprise, but it wasn't, but the second one was definitely a surprise.
Yeah, I feel like the first one is helped by its length. It's a bit longer and there's a bit more to it, and it's more time for him to do different things, I guess, if you know what I mean, like jumping in the crowd and whatnot. Whereas the second one's a bit shorter, but me not, like, obviously watching it and being completely surprised takes a bit away from it, I imagine. Yeah. But I think they're both, like, show, like, his popularity, and they're both, show he's kind of loved wherever he goes.
Yeah. And it shows as well, because it's the E, they're able to, like, run the show properly and stuff, and because it's right at the end of the show, they couldn't do, like, the full 4 or 5 minutes, because they're like, fuck, we need to end it now, so then they ended it when they did there, and then, like, and also as well, what do you think? There's no commentary either.
Yeah,
in the second one too. I thought it was really cool as well.
Yeah, no, definitely lets the moment speak for itself, doesn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Don't need someone telling you what's going on. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. So really good.
That's cool, man. Cool.
I can see how excited you are for it.
I'm very excited, man. WWE, since Vince McMahon has left creative, has been the most exciting and most epic it's been, because before he left, it was all very much like wins and losses didn't matter, storylines didn't matter. Now they do matter. They've made the IC Championship, which was seen as a sort of like a pittance kind of title, get back its credibility again. Gunther, who was known as Walter, is this absolute beast of a man that can basically beat you in 3 or 4 different ways. They made that title really good. Roman Reigns has been the Universal Undisputed Champion for over 1,000 days, so that's built it up, and it's been the most exciting it's been with Punk back, Orton back. It's just been so
It feels like it goes through waves, these different things. Like,
it does,
really high moments, and then it kind of like peters off a bit, and then...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the women's division is really good as well. I mean, Rhea Ripley is a megastar. Have you ever seen... You know Rhea Ripley, don't you?
The name sounds familiar. I think you've maybe shown me.
Yeah, she's her nickname's Marmy, and she's like this someone who's like so over in anything, and she's so good as well. Like, she's amazing. Her match against Charlotte Flair at Mania was really, really good. And it's just so cool to have Punk back as well, because they, in a sense, they don't really need him.
Yeah.
Because they're the most popular they've been for years. They're this, they're that. But actually, with Punk being back, it kind of adds that sort of like the cherry on top to kind of be like, oh, we're really good at the moment, but actually we're going to be even better now. And then it gives people those dream matches, him against Austin, him against Gunther, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. That's just the tip of the iceberg of the potential matches that we might have and stuff. So it's just so cool to see him back in the E.
The potential is there.
Yes, yeah. And it's going to make him a load of money as well. I mean, the fact, like I said earlier, his merch is the number one selling merch in the company. Just shows just the pop. And I want to buy his shirt now. I'm going to when I get paid. So yeah.
Nice. Cool.
So yeah, man, it was cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's cool to see, like, just people hyped over something. Yeah.
Totally, man, totally. And it's been the most hyped I've been about wrestling for a while now.
Yeah. That's good.
And it's just so. And also, when they came back, I watched the video about 1,000 times. I kept on watching it, listen to the music as well, because he did a remastered of the theme tune as well. Because you notice the theme sounded slightly different than it did when he was in AEW and stuff.
Definitely. So no, it's cool. It was good.
So yeah, it was awesome, man. It was awesome. So yeah, CM Punk, the best in the world. So yeah, Tony, before we head off at all, my man, do you have anything at all to plug to the peeps, or anything you want to say to kind of finish off the chat?
I don't know. Well, we're playing a lot of games over on Howdy Game.
We're indeed
playing classic Super Metroid. Really enjoyed it.
Best game in the world.
Some Spyro 2 as well. So yeah, best game in the world.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
Best in the world. Best. I had to.
There we go. Yeah. So that's it, pretty much. Yeah. So go check it out. Yeah. We're playing a lot of games.
We are indeed. We'll also be playing Spyro 2 as well.
Yes.
And finally, this is going to be released before the videos appear on Hell of the Game itself. But finally, we got past that fucking ice hockey level.
Yeah.
You fuckers.
You can see Mark rage if you
Yes, I was raging. And I'll include a link when it comes out in the description of the thing as well.
Nice.
So yeah, Tony. So awesome. So yeah, guys, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to Know Your Wrestling. We have been your amazing hosts, as always. The best in the world, Loser Quest Tony.
Hello. Bye-bye.
And me, your boy, Mark Silvester.